we will be beginning in a couple of minutes, so get comfy, maybe have a little taste of your favourite beverage. Hopefully no ghouls or ghosts have got you so far. We'll see you in a second. Welcome everybody, welcome. Pop in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me, if you can see my cat, and we will get started very shortly. We are live streaming everywhere tonight through the miracles of technology, and so we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're on LinkedIn. So welcome to you wherever you're watching from. It is a real honor and a pleasure to be serving you. And my little son, Harry, is watching downstairs. So Harry, thanks for watching. And yeah, let's see. I've got a few messages coming in. Let me know where you're watching from tonight as well. We took a little bit of a gamble because it is Halloween. And we've just got back from our festivities. It was a lot of fun. And we learned something very important tonight. We learned that, like my son, toddlers go out for their trick-or-treats at around 5. And at 7 p.m, all the scary teenagers come out and they just steal all the candies, which is quite funny. So, welcome. Thank you for being here on this Hallows Eve. Not the theme of tonight, but, you know, in the spirit of things, I thought I would share a few bits. So, we'll put little Kitty down here. So, welcome, everybody. I'm going to be your host this evening. I'm Mike Maher. I'm a breathwork coach. A little bit of a breathwork researcher, dare I say. We've done about 150 podcasts now with top experts, and we've built this beautiful community where we've got 308,000 human beings subscribed. I'll just say that again, 308,000, which is more about the power of breath work than it is about me. I've not done anything, you know, I've just brought together some of these older practices and some of these amazing people to share their wisdom. But we've had over 42 million people tune in and do a breathing exercise over the last 9 years, which is insane. So I want to give you something a little bit special this evening. I'm going to give you a couple of exercises to take away and put in your toolkit. And I'm also very excited to share a couple of things that are coming up as well. So I'm going to invite you, before we do anything, to just take a moment to get comfy and get settled. Before we start talking and doing breath work and different things, I'm going to play a little bit of music. And can I ask you just to softly close your gaze, or allow the eyelids to softly close. And let's just bring the attention to our current breathing pattern without the need to change it in any way, without the need to judge it or make it right or wrong. Let's just be the calm observer watching the breath come and go. Do a little bit of body relaxation work. So go ahead and screw up the face for me, like screw it up like tight. And even clench the jaw a little bit if you dare. Not too much, but just a little bit. And then let it go. We need to feel the yin to feel the yang. We need to do both. So crunch it, let it go. Bring the shoulders up to the ears. Take an exhale. Let it go. Inhale, bring the shoulders up. We shouldn't be breathing this way, but let's just feel it for a second. And then a release, a letting go, mouth or nose. Good. Soften in the belly. Then bring in the belly button into the spine. Then soften in the belly again, let it go. Tense the belly, bring it into the spine. Let it go. Keep it relaxed. Feet flat against the floor. And let's just spend, 30, 40 more seconds just observing our breath, and then we'll begin. We're in no rush tonight. We'll take our time. Good. And then just wiggling fingers and toes and gently coming back. So welcome. I'm really honoured that you have given some of your limited time on this planet to this and to you and to your live stream and to this thing we call breathwork. You know, a self-practice seems more important today than it did in the years gone by, because it just feels like everything's got faster. You know, we're living on the most stimulated, if not the most overstimulated times in all known human history. We're bombarded. Everybody wants our attention, including me. And here we are, you know. So let's use these moments together to really serve our inner self, to serve our nervous system. You know, I like to think of my nervous system like a little kitten. And, you know, if you prod that kitten and shine a phone in its face and make it stay up late and feed it McDonald's, and it's not going to be in the best place, you know, then you start shouting at it, it's going to be a bit scared. So I want to give that kitten some love and calm and gentleness and give it proper sleep and nice touch and it feels safe and feel connected to others. And, you know, kittens might not be your thing, but, you know, pick a little spirit animal for your nervous system. You know, it's been through a lot. It's got us to this point. It's constantly on the lookout for us. And even when we feel that anxiety and that stress and that panic, you know, that's the nervous system doing its thing. You know, it's not our fault that we feel the way we feel today. It's more to do with the modern world. You know, how weird is this? We're on a screen. I've got artificial light in my face. I've just eaten some candy downstairs. You know, we live in a strange time. We live in a very, very strange time. But we also have a lot of knowledge. But knowledge without power and, you know, without it being acted on is useless. So we're going to act on that knowledge today. Give ourselves a little bit of love. So let me share my screen because I can yabber on all night. Pop in the chat your questions because I can already see a couple. Ask somebody about nasal breathing. So let's answer some of those towards the end. So a question for you would be, what's made you join this? So why are you here? What are you hoping to get from this stream? You know, I don't know about you, I'm not just randomly clicking on all the different live streams. My wife loves interior design. I'm not clicking on any of those because I don't have any interest in them. But she does. But what made you click on this video? Why are you here today? And what are you hoping to get? Maybe I can shape this stream in a way that is going to support you a little more. So pop that in. That's the beauty of us being live, and I can see all the comments here. I can actually share that with you. So, right, let's go. All right. So stress seems to be at an all-time high. If you look at things like Google Trends, we don't seem to be the most calm, relaxed race that I think we've ever been. Someone's just put in the comments, the world has literally taken my breath away. I'm not sure if that's a positive thing or a negative thing, Amy. I suspect you're saying that in maybe not so good light, but yeah, please clarify. But yeah, we're in a place where we're dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of stimulation, but the breath is our foundation. We can always come back to this. and it can be a real saviour. So tonight I want to give you some wow, okay? I'm not going to make it all how. We're going to give you some wow. We're going to give you some practical exercises to do. I just saw this guy on Instagram actually. Did a nice little quote today, nice little video. And he is the reason I'm here, I think, one of the reasons I'm here. So James Nestor wrote that book, Breath, during the pandemic, and it really resonated. You know, I was already into breath work, but he showed me a whole other dimension. I was very much into Wim Hof and the power breathing, the alkaline breathing, and then suddenly I was like, what? There's all these other practical benefits to how you breathe, and I'm stressed and I'm anxious and I've got insomnia and I feel tense. You know, can this help me? And it did. And then I started working with clients and it helped them as well. And this quote, I think, summarizes everything. So maybe this is the reason why you're here. He says, no matter what you eat, how much you exercise, how resilient your genes are, how skinny or young or wise you are, none of it will matter unless you're breathing correctly. And I found this to be true for me, 100% true, because I tried the diets. I did the Mark Sisson Primal Blueprint. I did CBT therapies. I tried different workouts, but until I fixed the foundation of my breathing, it was almost like I was trying to build a castle on sand. The foundation was so wobbly. It was not pointless, because I don't want to say we should still be trying to eat well. We should obviously be trying to sleep well. We need to be moving our bodies, but most people are not addressing the foundation of the health, which is the thing that we're doing 25,000 times a day, and most of us are getting it wrong. In fact, many studies have shown when you combine them together, according to people like Nestor, according to psychologist Melissa Vranich, around 9 to 9.5%, 9 to 9.5 out of 10 people are not breathing correctly. So 95% of us have got something going on, including me, including you. I'm not a perfect breather. You know, I've still got things that I'm working on, but I'm a lot closer than I used to be. So that's why I think I'm here, and that's maybe why you're here. So I want to just talk a little bit about this, because I've spent 9 years now. I was much younger, skinnier, and less grey hair when I started this journey back in 2016, and I got to hang around with Wim Hof in the snowy mountains of Śnieżka, and got to huff and puff in the basement with Wim and drink a lot of beers with Wim, and we had a really good time. And I also did a lot of breath work and a lot of cold exposure, and it was life changing. And from there, I went on a journey and made a lot of YouTube videos. In fact, we just counted, there's 450 videos on this YouTube channel now. 42 million views. 9 years of my life is on this. In fact, if you go back and watch the first video, it's me climbing Mount Śnieżka in my pants with a group of 60 other people, freezing, freaking freezing. And I've been on this journey, and I just got more and more and more curious. And it turns out there's a lot of evidence that how we breathe affects how we think and feel. Like, a lot of evidence, and most of us don't breathe properly. So over the last probably year to 2 years, I've been playing with this idea of creating a method. And I want to be clear before I jump into this. I have not invented anything. I don't think there is anything new in breathwork. In fact, I think it's deeply, deeply ancient. I think we've forgotten more than we'll ever know right now about the power of breathing, but we're discovering a lot. And all I've done here is I've seen a pattern. And after 150 interviews, over 150 hours of talking to experts, plus all the hours of prep, plus all the books, plus all the webinars and retreats I've been on. I hung around with the guy that held his breath for 10 minutes. I went on the James Nestor retreat. I hung around with Wim and all these different people. I just saw a pattern, and I kept seeing it over and over again. And this is the pattern that I've come across. I want to share that with you, and what we're calling the breathwork reset method. There's 5 simple pillars to it. Okay, you need to walk through these 5 pillars or gates to completely reset your system, as far as I can see. And by reset, I mean breathe properly. So let me walk you through them. It'll make a bit more sense. We're not a computer. We cannot be reset. So the word reset actually means something here. It's not a reset of your nervous system. I don't know what that actually means when people say that. So the first thing we have to do, the first gate we have to walk through to truly have great breathing, is to release our lungs, to have good lung capacity, or what the medicals might term as forced vital capacity. We're using a spirometer. So how much air can you squeeze out after a full breath? So one of the biggest, if not, I'm going to butcher this now. How do I get back to the screen? Here we go. Many experts agree, and there's studies to back this up, the most important longevity marker, and there's loads, right? But the most important one that almost all experts seem to agree on is lung capacity. So let that just sink in for a second, because it's impossible. How can it be? It must be like heart rate variability, or it must be like blood pressure or something. No, it's how good are you at breathing with your lung capacity. Did you know most 80-year-olds have the same lung capacity as 10-year-olds? It's shocking. And if you think about the fact that you might need to go for surgery when you're older, well, your breathing is really important. You know, how good are you at breathing? How good are you at detoxifying your system? How good are you at moving the spinal fluids to your brain and back again, moving the lymph system? There's a lot of reasons why lung capacity is absolutely essential. And most of us are too tight. Most of us have lost the ability to take a full deep breath and take a proper exhale. So the first part of this method is release. Okay. The second part of the method is energize. I'm not going to go through them all in that much detail because I'll bless you. I'll be here all night and I want to do some breathing with you. The second part is energize. So we've got to look at our sleep. We've got to look at breath work for energy, which is an important aspect, but the most important aspect is the quality of our sleep. So we have to optimize our energy. If you're exhausted, this is for you. The next part is soothe. So this is looking at specific breathing and touch and somatic techniques to not pop you in rest and digest, but just to bring a balance to your nervous system. Again, I think about my little kitten, my little nervous system. It just needs to be soothed. It needs to be loved. It needs to be made to feel safe. Then we've got embody, which is getting out of our head and getting into our actual human body, the greatest gift we'll ever be given. I'm going to guide you through something really special this evening that's going to help you do that. And then the final gate we walk through is tolerate. So you might know Buteyko, some of you might be Oxygen Advantage instructors. This is about slow breathing, being able to tolerate a slower breath. Again, there's evidence that shows that, I might butcher the numbers here, so let me try and give these to you. Let's come back over here. Humans get around 3 billion heartbeats in their life if you live to 80. These are just some numbers I've researched. And we get around, I think it's 270 million breaths. Okay, that sounds like a lot. But there is a correlation between the amount of breaths, or your respiratory rate, and the amount of heartbeats. So there is a way you could say that if we slow the breath down, we slow the heart down, it is another way to think about longevity. Of course, lung capacity seems to be the most important one, but we shouldn't be panting and breathing fast all the time. We shouldn't be using our shoulders. We need to be breathing slow and rhythmically and gently. So that is a crash course in the method. I can't find any way to make it shorter. I've spent hours trying to go, how can I make this simpler? What else can we strip out? I want this to be the easiest way for people to understand what they need to do to reset their breathing system, to get back to before the age of 5. And these are the 5 gates that I believe we all have to walk through, because the modern world is conspiring against us. As James Nestor would say, we are losing the ability to breathe properly. And then when all the stimulation and stress comes in, of course we don't have the resilience. Of course we're exhausted. So this is why I do what I do, because this is really important. Okay. And these are all parts of the puzzle. They all have to come together. So you could just work on release, but you need the other parts of the puzzle to truly bring it all together. There we go. So why are we here tonight? Because I am teaching the Breathwork Reset method on Sunday. For the first time ever, I'm teaching this to a group of people. We've got, I think, 29 people in the group so far. There's a little QR code there if you're interested. We will be going live each Sunday in November. We will be teaching one of those elements for a couple of hours, practicing it together. I will be giving homework. And then each week we will build on it. I'm really, really excited. This is going to be such a big deal. Very intimate. I don't think we'll go more than 40 people. And so if you're interested in doing this, I'm going to pop the link into some of the chats as well here, so you can have a little look, but you can scan the QR code. Now, the reason these beautiful faces are next to me is because not only are we doing the reset method, we're actually bringing in other expert practitioners to help bring it to life. Because, I can talk all day about this, but it's also good to bring some fresh faces in. So, thank you, Vagabundo. Vagabundo says, I'm in. Amazing. So we've got a somatic practitioner in Alex Green. We've got a fascia expert in Lottie Parup. We've got a vagal theory expert and coherence expert in Tom Granger. And we've got a sleep expert in Julia Warren. And they're all coming in to do guided sessions on top of the course. And I'm also giving away 6 months of group coaching after the course finishes, because my goal is for you to feel like you get a transformation. So if you do decide after listening to me on Halloween that you're going to come and join me, which it would be an honour, and we've got loads of payment plans so you can do this, I will be making sure that this works for you. So you'll get 5 weeks of training where I take you through the method in detail. I teach you the method in detail. Everything's recorded. We'll then bring all these experts in to spice it up and bring it to life a little bit. And then we'll give you 6 months with me in a group so you can truly, truly embed it and feel it and make mistakes and forget things and wonder why this doesn't work. And we'll create you a bespoke plan. So that's what we're doing here. So let's go back. Any questions about that, please let me know. So look, we don't live in the times of our ancestors. Things have changed a lot. Okay, we have to recognize that. Our hunter-gatherer days are long behind us. And the ability to spend your time in a group of 150 people is not there anymore. You know, we live very isolated lives with a lot of stimulation, and it's a big problem for us. You know, our posture's changed, our stress levels have changed, our sleep quality's changed. Artificial light has made a big difference to everything, including women's cycles, sleep quality. You know, a lot of things have changed, even though that chap here and that lady there and that little boy there are pretty much us. You know, there's a lot that's changed in our environment that we're not quite ready for. And so normally whenever I take a client on, the first thing I'll do is I'll go through a wellness self-assessment and I'll get them to rate themselves on these 5 indicators. And you can do this right now. So I'd say, okay, think about your stress and resilience over the last month. And your resilience to stress, a 10 would be, I'm really resilient. So if somebody cuts me off in traffic or somebody screams in my face, it's water off a duck's back. Or a 1 would be, I just lose it. I just start screaming or I lose it internally. Calm would be, I just stay calm all the time. And the 0 would be, I know I'm stressed all the time. I'm anxious all the time. Then we've got mental clarity. Do I have a lot of brain fog? Or I'm really clear and sharp and I can recall really well. Energy would be, you know, I'm just full of energy all day. I feel like a toddler. I don't stop. And the 0 would be exhausted. And then obviously the final one is sleep quality. You know, how I sleep really well. I don't wake up. Or I know I wake up a lot and I feel exhausted in the morning. So each of those comes with 2 points. You can pop all those together and then you get a score. You get a wellness score out of 100. And you can give yourself an idea. And then you want to look at the gap. You say, okay, where's the gap? And then we can look at how we improve that. And so the reason I've chose these 5 metrics, and I do this with every client, is because I know the breath deeply, deeply affects these numbers. And so I know that when it comes to sleep, I can look at how we can improve your sleep using evidence-based tools and breathwork. I know with energy, we can improve that with breathwork. Same with clarity, calm, and resilience. These are all very, very important. So yeah, I can see Vagabundo's got a resilience of 8 and a calm of 1. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so you've got a good resilience, but you feel very stressed as well. Yeah, I'd be interested to dig into that a little more. So this just gives you a standard metric of what's going on. And then normally I'd do a couple of CO2 tolerance tests. You know, I'd look at like how good are you at holding your breath and when do you feel the impulse to breathe. I'd measure those results. I'm not going to go into that this evening. I'd measure your exhale. I'd look at where your breath is as well. We'd look to see what muscles you're using. And then from all of that, we'd give you a real assessment of your breath. So I'm just whizzing through some of these things now because I'm really keen to get into the actual guidance with you. And I think we're going to do that now. But I'm just trying to relay the point that we're all bespoke, we're all unique, we're all individual. And there's not one clear path for everybody. So there's the 5 gates that we all have to walk through. You know, release, energize, soothe, embody and tolerate. But it's a little bit like there's 5 levers and we're all going to need different bits. So I've worked with yoga instructors, many yoga instructors in fact, and very bendy, very, very bendy, got great rib cage flexibility, but in the head a lot and not great CO2 tolerance. So I know that I'm going to lean more into tolerate and embody with those first. So everyone's in a unique journey, but we know that they're the five gates that we all have to walk through. So we're going to move into an embodiment practice. Let me have a little slurp. How am I doing? Have I put you to sleep yet in the wrong way or the right way? Leave me a little comment. Anna's in Poland. How to breathe correctly. Anna, yeah, hopefully I've answered that a little bit. I was doing 4-7-8 breathing on your video because I'm having short breaths. Yeah, if you've joined the course, Vagabundo, I don't know obviously your real name because you've got a username, but yeah, we can address that. I've got Adam here from Test Tube Marketing. Hello, sir. Lovely to see you. Yeah, Amy, I'm sorry to hear that. What can I do? Okay, so keep popping your questions in. We'll come back to those. So let's do a little embodiment practice. Let's talk about that tonight. So out of the 5 gates, the 5 pillars, we'll spend a little bit of time on embodiments. Let me just bring this to life for you a little bit. So a couple of years ago, I took the worst journey of my life. I had a 6-month-old son, and I decided to, on a Monday, be in Thailand, trying to give my son to the monks. I'm joking, obviously. And I think on the Wednesday morning, I was in Wyoming, and I did not know what the heck was going on. I was so exhausted. And the reason I did that was I was given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to train with a true embodiment master, which was Paul Hughes, who was the lineage holder for Vivation. I got to spend 10 days with him and go through and become a certified instructor in that. So it was worth the journey, but it broke me for a couple of days. It took me a couple of days to obviously acclimatize. You know, your body is not meant to move that far that quick. It's too much. It's too much. Anyway, it was an amazing journey. I got to hang around with Paul. I got to do all sorts of breath work that I only dreamed of. Never do breath work in the water without a certified practitioner, obviously, but I'm going to say that out loud because I know some people have got in trouble for that. But I got to spend 10 days working on my embodiment practice. So what is that? Embodiment is the ability to come out of your busy mind and tap into your body. So we've been given probably the greatest tool we'll ever get given. Forget an iPhone, forget a Tesla, forget, I don't know, combine harvester. Nothing's ever going to be as good as this. Okay, we've got this dexterity of our hands. We can chew things, and we can sit, and we can cartwheel, and we can do all these amazing things. I was at a circus 3 times this year because my son's obsessed with circuses, and I was blown away by the ability of what humans can do when they train their body. Oh my goodness. So we've got this incredible thing, and we've become it's a bit of a weird relationship with our body. Like, we'll feel some aches and pains, but we'll try and get away from it. We'll disassociate, and breath work can be part of the problem. We can hyperventilate and disassociate, and we come back and we have this beautiful experience. And I've done this many times, but nothing can be as powerful as being in the body. And I teach Vivation. I practice embodiment. I've used it when I was with my son and he wouldn't sleep, and I'm stressed because I've got to go to work, and I've got stress, and it's 3 a.m. and I used embodiment practices to completely reframe it, and it was a game changer. It really made those evenings cherishable. And so I'm going to give you an embodiment practice today. So all this is, it's a reframe. So we're up here most of the time, and we're just thinking, not generally the nicest thoughts. You know, if we spoke to somebody at work like we speak to ourselves, we'd get fired really quickly. You know, we've got this horrible roommate. It just doesn't shut up 24 hours a day. It's always there. It's not us, though. It's a voice in our head, and we can detach. And one of the ways to do that is bring ourselves and become embodied. And when we tap into our body, we tap into the present moment. So if you feel life is going too fast, if you feel like where the last 10 years gone by, well, there is a solution for that, and it's not alcohol, it's not sugar, it's not Netflix, it's embodiment. It's bringing yourself into the present moment. So I'm going to guide you through that now. So I'm really excited to do this, and then we're going to bring an embodiment expert, 2 to be fair, but we're bringing an embodiment expert in to the course, which starts on Sunday. I'm going to go a lot deeper with that as well. So let's get started. So let me play some music. This is 432 hertz. I forget what that frequency does now, but a lot of people seem to like that. So you can lay down for this. I don't know why I keep touching it. I've got like a tick now. I've noticed when I'm watching myself, I grab my glasses. So you can lay down for this, or you can stay seated. And I'm going to just guide you now through a little bit of breath awareness, body awareness. Turn the music down a little. So just keeping the eyes open, let's begin by just acknowledging where you are right now. And there's no need to change anything, just notice. Gently allow your gaze to soften and begin exploring the space around you. Let your eyes wander without any purpose or urgency or intention. What's here? in this moment? What colours or textures are drawing your attention? So just look around your space, away from the screen. Just have a little look around. Maybe you've never looked at this room in as much detail as you are right now. I'm just looking at some post-its on the wall. I can see some are bent in a weird way. I can see the bottom hinge of my door, and there's a little bit of oil spray there. I can see some dust in the corner, thinking, oh, I better clean that. Never noticed that before. One of the cables behind the printer's curled in a really nice figure of 8 loop. That's bringing me a little bit of joy. So just look around. As you continue looking around, notice if there's anything, maybe just one thing or perhaps 2 or 3 that brings a sense of ease, appreciation or joy. And it might be something you've never noticed before. Allow the shoulders to soften. Allow the jaw to relax. Just a few more seconds of this. Now bring the awareness down to where your body meets the world. Can you feel contact with your feet against the floor? Notice the quality of that connection, the temperature, the pressure, the stillness, or even the subtle movement. Shift your attention to your pelvis, to those sit bones making contact with your chair. Are you aware of how you're being held and supported right now? And if your back is resting against something, tune into that support. Notice your arms, whether they're resting on armrests or your lap. Can you feel their weight? There's no need to change your position. Simply become curious about how gravity is holding you. I'm going to talk about movement now and allowing your body to move gently. So here is an invitation. Check in with your body and just see if there's any small movements that want to happen. I'm not suggesting you launch into stretches or exercise. This is more subtle, might be a slight twist. A tiny adjustment might feel satisfying right now. Maybe the shoulders want to roll slightly. Perhaps the fingers want to curl. Maybe your head wants to tilt or turn just a bit. There's no right answer, just play and explore. Stretch your toes out. Maybe a yawn. Here's the important part. That was a real yawn. If you try something and it doesn't feel quite right, that's good feedback. Just stop and try something else. Your body's preferences are your guide here, so you're just tuning into what your body likes. Oh, don't want to stop. Now we're going to tune into the breath. So let's take the attention to our breathing without changing it. If you can, just become the observer for a moment. Just notice the gentle rise and fall in your chest or breastbone. Perhaps you're more aware of the breath in your belly. Some people notice their breath more clearly in their throat, or a coolness in their nose. And where's the breathing easiest for you right now? What part of the process feels smooth or effortless? Now, if you allow your breath to become slightly fuller, not maximizing it, just adding a degree more volume, how might you do that? Would adding a bit more breath in your upper chest feel satisfying? Or does deepening your belly breath feel more inviting right now? There's no correct choice. It's about discovering what your body is drawn toward. Gonna add a little bit of touch now. Place one hand somewhere on your body where it feels natural to rest it. It could be your chest, your belly, your leg, your arm. And once your hand is there, pause and check in. How does it feel? How does your body respond to that touch? Does it feel pleasant, comforting, or neutral? Neither good nor bad. Does it feel slightly off, like it's not quite what you want right now? If it doesn't feel quite right, Simply experiment placing your hand somewhere else. Some people like it on the heart, a certain amount of pressure. And just find a place where the body says yes. As we begin to close this practice, I want to ask you something specific right now. In this present moment, what can you notice in your body that feels okay? Not perfect, not amazing, just okay, or dare I say even a little bit pleasant. And what part of your experience right now feels more or less as it should? We so often focus on the things that are not right. Let's glass half full it for a second. As I scan my body, what feels good? And remember, this isn't about achieving a perfect state or following rules. It's about developing a conversation with your body, asking questions, noticing responses, and adjusting. Your body really is your true teacher. Just one more time, bringing the attention back to the breath, almost like you're standing on the edge of a beautiful beach, watching the waves of the breath come and go. And your only job is to enjoy it as much as you can, not more than you can. And what happens if you put a little smile on your face, even though you might not want to? What happens if you dial that smile up a little more? Good. I'm just going to spend 30 seconds together now in silence. Listen to the music, watch the breath. And just gently wiggling fingers and toes. And gently coming back. Welcome back. Let's just take a moment to come back. So we didn't really even change the breath there, did we? We just became a little bit more embodied. And so the next time you have 2 minutes or 3 minutes spare, maybe you can watch this replay back and just listen to that bit. And just allow yourself to be guided in. And I would love to know how that felt. What did you notice? So pop it in the chat and I'll have a look. And it's lovely to have guided you today. So happy Halloween. So lovely that I knew it was going to be a quieter one because everyone's out trick-or-treating, but thank you. So I'm not going to go through all this again, but there are 5 core modules. And, you know, I've got 150 podcasts on that channel. You are very welcome to watch those podcasts. They're going to show you a lot of what we do and how it's done. But if you want to cut through everything and learn the method with me, that starts this Sunday. So we're almost there. So here's what you're going to get. This is my pitch to you. Are you ready? You've stuck all the way through. I'm going to try not to bore you with this. I'm very excited with this, by the way. This is like the craziest deal that we've ever put on. I wanted just to make it an absolute no-brainer to go, I'm in. So this is the deal. So here's what we've got coming up. So you can learn the big 5 modules in November. They run every Sunday. They're recorded if you can't make it. I've never taught this before to a group. So these recordings do not exist anywhere else. Okay. So this will be the only way to get this method unless you've worked with me as a client. I will be hosting a weekly Q&A on Saturdays. Hang out. Then we're bringing in 4 incredible guests. This is on top of the course. These are bonuses. So learn the big 5. That's the thing we're selling. Yeah, we're selling the big 5, but we're adding in the Q&A because that's about accountability. We're adding in the experts because that's about deeper learning and more fun. Then we're giving away the Airheads Masterclass. This is 20 experts got together 2 years ago for the biggest breathwork seminar I believe that's ever been hosted. And it's hosted by me and my business partner, Tom Granger, and we ran it. It's called Airheads. That's waiting for you as soon as you sign up. It's incredible. They're the best speakers. We'll never be able to pull it off again. They're all there waiting for you. On top of that, we're giving 6 months of coaching away worth $497 as well. So that means the minute the course finishes and November finishes, I'm going to be there for you for the next 6 months with a group class, so you can embed and learn and practice and make friends and have connection and just have a really, really good time. Plus, we've got a little AI robot for you called O2D2. We're building him at the moment, and that's going to be a little AI coach. We're very, very excited about that. And that's it. So it's $500, £380. You can split it over 6 months if you want. I think it's $83 a month. The link is on that QR code there as well. And we go live in 48 hours. And that's it. So that's what's going on. We would love for you to join us. This is the last live stream I think I'm going to do before. We cannot wait to take people through this. We've got about 30 people that are in there already. In fact, what I'll do, let me give you a quick tour actually of the community. So let's have a look. So here you go. This is cool. This will be a good thing to show. So we're using a platform called school.com. So we've got 29 people that have joined us. It's going to be very, very intimate. So we've got a forum. School is amazing. It's so clean and modern. Let me show you the calendar. So if we go to November, this is what your November could look like. We've got all the classes that are happening here. All the classes are going live here on Sunday. We've got all the hangouts and we've got all the guest lectures as well. So your November with me is sorted. I'm going to give you the secret sauce to help you with your breathing, for your nervous system, for your sleep, for your energy. On top of that, we've got the Breathwork Masterclass, which is here, the Airheads Masterclass. That's ready to go with all the amazing experts. And I'm starting to put this together now. This is the actual main reset method. Here it is. So we've got the assessment trackers here. This is what you're going to get access to. You've got all the ways to assess yourself. We've got, I'm giving all this away. This has always been what we've been using with clients. We've got all the trackers here so you can track all of your health metrics. We've got the questionnaire here that you complete to really get your mental state in a great place. We give you all these things in there as well. And then we've got all the learning. So we have gone deep. So look, this is only a quarter of the studies that I've referenced so far. I mean, some crazy stuff in here. Look, lung function may predict long life and early death. There's some incredible stuff going on in here as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to kind of share it with you all. So if you're on the fence, you can email me. It's hello@Take a Deep Breath. We do offer scholarships and financial funding for people that are disadvantaged or retired or in the military or have a disability. We can sometimes work something out for you. I don't want money to be a barrier. If you can pay it in one go and get it done, that's really great because it supports us. It means that we've got that cash in the business to keep going and bring more things like this to you. But we do offer an interest-free payment plan as well, where you can split it over 6 months as well. So we've tried to make it as accessible as possible. I'm so excited to bring it to life. It's been a lot of work. And we go live in just 2 days time. So that's it. So let's have a quick look at some questions. Let's see what we've got going on here. I think there's a couple about breathing. Hello from New Zealand. What time is it in New Zealand? AS Travel Photography. What can I do to improve my nasal breathing? Because I take nasal spray and I want to. Yeah. I've used those nasal sprays. I when I've got a really bad cold, I will use it. There is so much you can do, Benjamin 1812, to improve your nasal breathing. So I'm guessing you're feeling stuffy right now and you're feeling breathless. And that's opening up your nose temporarily. But then you've probably got what they call reverse congestion, where you've become addicted to that release, and then it closes even further. And it's fantastic from the pharmaceutical point of view because you're hooked to it. I was hooked on lip balm for 10 years. Freaking 10 years, man. Lip balm. And then I switched to coconut oil and everything changed. I had these cracked lips, and it was lip balm. Lip balm was doing it. Anyway, I go off on a weird tangent. So a couple of things you could do right now. I would, obviously need to speak to you to know more. You know, I'm biased here. I would say join the course. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know, but here's some quick things. I would get a nebulizer. They're $30 on Amazon, and you get some saline solution, and you breathe in the saline. It's tiny little nebulizer, and you inhale the mist. That's going to help open up the passage. It's very good for your lungs. You can practice, if you don't have high blood pressure and you're not pregnant, you can practice long breath holds. They're going to vasodilate and open up the nose. That's going to be very helpful. You can elevate your bed, a couple of books under the bottom of the bed, create a bit of nasal mucus drainage. That's going to help you sleep at night. You can wear nasal strips. You can wear nasal dilator. There's loads. There's so many things you can do. You don't want to be doing that forever though. You want to fix it, and that's what we do. But yeah, I would get off that. I'd get off that spray and do those things. What else? I was doing 4-7-8 breathing because I'm having short breaths. Yeah. Is it asthma, vagabundo, or something else? Yeah. How to breathe correctly, Anna? Well, that's the method. That's what we're teaching. Czech, in Poland. Jak się masz? What else have we got here? After I eat, I get short breaths. Interesting. Coherence breathing doesn't help, but 4-7-8 does. Your son is lucky to get... Oh, that's nice. I need this. Oh, well, powerful, full cold. I'm glad you're here. What time are the live sessions? Amy, so the sessions are recorded, but they're going to be 5 p.m. London, which is 12 p.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And they're running for 2 hours every Sunday, but they're all recorded. So if you can't make it, we may run this course again next year, but it will be a lot more. This is a beta course. So if we do run it again, it's going to be close to $1,000, I think. So if you're kind of on the fence, but you can't make all the live sessions, I would just grab it at like $500. It's a lot cheaper. You can split it, and then you get the recordings, plus you get the bonus of 6 months coaching and the masterclass, which we may not offer that. So yeah, but that's when we run it. We run it on Sundays. Happy Halloween, Mill Dude. Cool. I got sick 3 weeks ago, and since then I have used nasal spray, otherwise my nose is completely blocked, but I have the feeling this spray opens my nose too much. It's weird. Yeah, so Vagabundo, it's just like I was saying to the other person above. It's very helpful if you're blocked. That spray is really, really important. And if you're in a desperate situation, you're going to take it, but you want to get off it. I mean, we're in November nearly now, and this is cold and flu season. So get your vitamin D levels checked for sure. Go down that route. Look at your sleep optimization. But for that, again, same thing. Nasal strips, nasal dilator, nebulizer, maybe air purifier. There's a lot of things you can do. That steroid, I don't know what the long-term effects of that steroid are, but they're not good. They're not good. Same with the inhalers. That it's not good, the long-term effects. If it's not natural, we really shouldn't be doing it. So yeah, I hope that helps. So I think that's it. I think I've answered all the questions. Thank you for being here live. I'm going to pop back on the screen the actual method and just leave that back up. But I would love it if you would consider joining us. I hope you've got a little flavour of me today. This is me who's been trick-or-treating. It was a lot of fun. I'm a little bit tired now as well, because I've had a cold this week myself. You might be able to hear the nasal thing in me as well. So I know what it's like. We're run down. It's a good time of year to fix your breathing, get the vegetables in your diet, and all that good stuff. So let's pop up that back on the screen. So there it is. There is everything you need. It's the best deal we've ever done. I can't genuinely believe there's anybody giving away more than that for that price. I can't. I went away and I thought, what would blow people away? And it was this. And I think you're in for a real surprise with this course as well. So that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave this music on. I'm going to leave that on. I'll answer any questions if they come in. And one last time, I'm going to pop the link back in the chat. And I hope you will consider joining me on the reset method, which starts in just under 48 hours time. I love you to bits. Thank you for being here. And maybe I will see you soon. Vagabundo, what is your actual name so I know to look out for you, if you don't mind putting it in the chat? Because you say you're going to be here and I want to know who it is so I can say, oh, it was you. If you don't want to put it in the chat, that's okay. You can drop me a message on school as well. But yeah, very cool that you made it live. Thanks for watching, everyone.